It was 2019. The Pulwama terror attack took the lives of more than 40 Indian soldiers on the 14th of February. Pakistan's fingerprints were all over the attack. India was furious and decided to teach Pakistan a lesson. On the 26th of February, less than 2 weeks later, India bombarded Pakistan's terrorist military complex in Balakot, killing hundreds. So Pakistan was taught a nasty lesson. What about the Islamist terrorists within? Those armed terrorists and sympathizers living in Kashmir aiding Pakistan's assault on India? What about those who celebrated the Pulwama blast? PM Modi had a plan for that too. Months later, in August 2019, the double-dealing separatist politicians were all detained and Article 370 was scrapped, snatching from a separatist a constitution that they used to draw tremendous power from and blackmail India itself. Hopes were rife that Kashmiri Hindus and Sikhs who were made to leave Kashmir in the 90s and earlier through a spate of genocidal killings will get to return to their homeland. But Pakistan is still pumping terrorists like a herd of goats ready to be slaughtered, and they are receiving support from some local Kashmiri assets. Today, the killing of Hindus, Sikhs and Kashmiri Muslims who work with the government are increasing again. The terrorists know that Hindus who want to return to their land will do anything to stop it. So there is only one way now to teach these killers a lesson, and that is the Israeli way. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Tribhuvan, and in this video, I will tell you how Indian diplomats' 2-year-old proposal to resettle Hindus in Kashmir seems relevant today. Let's begin. Sandeep Chakravorty, India's consul general to the New York City, had made some remarks in November 2019 that had left the global Islamo-leftist camp led by people like Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan fuming. The senior diplomat had wondered why India can't follow the Israel model for resettling displaced minorities in Kashmir. Given the recent attacks on Kashmiri minorities by Pakistani-sponsored cross-border terrorism, Chakravorty's suggestion may be the only practical solution. India's Consul General to the New York City had said, "I believe the security situation will improve. It will allow the refugees to go back, and in your lifetime, you will be able to go back. And you will be able to find security because we already have a model in the world." Chakravorty had added, "I don't know why we don't follow it. It has happened in the Middle East. If the Israeli people can do it, we can also do it." The Consul General had also assured the Kashmiri Hindus who were displaced from their homes in the valley after the anti-Kashmiri Pandit program in 1989 that they can retain their culture despite their sufferings. He again gave the example of the Jewish nation of the Israel and said Jews kept their culture for 2000 years outside their land and then they went back. Chakravorty had concluded, "We all have to keep Kashmiri culture alive. The Kashmiri culture is the Indian culture. It is the Hindu culture. I feel as much Kashmiri as anyone else." Chakravorty's remark naturally engaged the global Islamo-leftist camps. Qatari-funded television station Al Jazeera, which is alleged to have a pro-Qatar bias, reported anger over India's diplomat calling for Israel model in Kashmir. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan too had tweeted, "Shows the fascist mindset of the Indian government's RSS ideology that has continued the siege of Indian-occupied Jammu Kashmir for over 100 days, subjecting Kashmiris to the worst violation of their human rights while the powerful countries remain silent back of their trading interests." Pakistan's Prime Minister had opposed Chakravorty's proposal in 2019. However, this year Pakistan-sponsored terror elements have mercilessly targeted Kashmiri Pandits, Hindu migrants and Sikhs in the valley. Kashmiri Hindus and Sikhs have already suffered a lot, and the new wave of targeted terror attacks is again forcing them to flee the valley. Article 370 and Article 35 were scrapped by the Indian Parliament 2 years ago. However, it really doesn't seem to have made life easier for minorities in Kashmir. So if we practically analyze what Chakravorty had said, then it seems that greater security to Kashmiri minorities is absolutely necessary to protect them. The talks of implementing the Israel model upset the usual suspects. However, it is the duty of the Indian state to protect the vulnerable classes of citizens. And we are not really comparing the Israel-Palestine situation with the Kashmir situation. The dispute in Palestine is a territorial dispute, whereas the dispute in Kashmir is not territorial, as the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. The issue in Kashmir is that of Pakistan-sponsored radicalism and terrorism. Therefore, protecting Kashmiri minorities with properly guarded enclaves to keep them insulated from targeting killings is even more highly warranted. In fact, former Jammu and Kashmir DGP SP Vaid had even said there is no harm in giving arms training and providing weapons to the minority Hindu community as well as to the vulnerable section of the Muslims in the Kashmir Valley. Therefore, despite protests from people like Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, India must consider Chakravorty's suggestion in facing of growing instances of targeted terrorist killings of Pandits and other minorities in Kashmir.